Hello and welcome back to 10 Walks Explain Everything, with a bit of a departure from the Dutch videos that I've been doing. This is the second of a couple of videos that I'm doing, basically because I live in Italy. I live in Liguria on the outskirts of Genoa, and I've always looked over to this enormous rocky outcrop behind me, which is the Promontorio di Portofino, and wondered whether it was possible to walk back from to my place from the very well-known little town of Portofino itself. Today it's November, beautiful day, and I was free, so I thought, well, let's try it today. It's been good so far. The first half of the walk was setting off from Portofino, walking up into the Promontorio, this enormous rocky outcrop that sticks into the Mediterranean, and I'm about to drop down into the town of Camogli, which is a very beautiful place, and that is the first bit where I'm actually going to be walking alongside the sea itself. And then basically I'm just going to continue walking along the coast, along the old Roman Aurelia road, Via Aurelia, until I reach Nervi or Bogliasco just before it, through lots of little fishing villages that are now very nice places to live. And then I'm just going to go up the hill towards Sant Ilario above Nervi, where I live, and that's on the outskirts of Genoa. It'll have been 20 kilometers plus, probably about 25 by the time I've done this, but it's a lovely day for doing it. It's a beautiful place to do it, and couldn't be happier. Anyway, I've got my mango, I've got my water, I've got a tub of Vaseline because I think that my right heel is a bit sore, and now on with it. And by the way, this is not where I'm going to be showing you loads of things and telling you loads of things about why Italy works in a particular way. This literally is just enjoy the views. It really is a lovely place to come. I don't know why more people don't come to Genoa itself. It's great. There's a bit of a steep staircase coming down here, so it's probably a good spot to stop and just show you that there is Genoa in the distance, the massive houses. It's kind of crammed into every little nook and cranny, with little villages along the rocks, some of them old resort villages, some of them fishing villages. Just take my way gingerly down this very steep staircase. And I'll be walking along there. That's actually a good view. Look at that there. The hills just collapsing into the sea. And then the other side of Genoa, it goes around to Savona. The mountains that you can see there, the very high ones, it's right on the border with France. Coastline goes all the way around, past places like Ventimiglia, and then it hits the French border next to Nice, where Garibaldi was born, and Monaco, places like that. It's a pretty remarkable geography. It's like one big kind of half moon shape. Of course, walking down along this stretch of coast going into Genoa, it's inescapable that the demographic crisis is all around you. A lot of people, obviously, if they have the money, they retire out here, or they have summer homes or other ways to escape the heat of the city. So a lot of these villages and towns are very old demographics indeed. A lot of people also come down from Milan and Turin down here, so a lot of places have got shuttered windows for a lot of the year. What a shame. Now the centre of Camogli is just down there, not really that far at all, but I'm not going down there, and I'm not going to make any excuses other than to say that I'm in my 50s and I'm trying to walk all the way from Portofino all the way back home to Genoa, so I'm not going to take all the little scenic routes that I might have wanted to. And frankly, Camogli is well worth coming to visit anyway. It's also well worth visiting from the sea as well. I took a boat out there with my brother, his family, recently, and seeing it all from the sea was really lovely. Now the thing with Recco is that a lot of it's more modern because it was pulverized rather in the Second World War by bombing, so it's not one of the prettier ones that you'll find on this stretch of the Riviera. Place I've just passed, just in that little turn off back there, is the place that we bring olives to get pressed. It's full of old men sitting around talking about olives, big bits of machinery thumping away, beautiful smells of everything from the petrol to the olives themselves. It's quite a sight, quite a visceral experience, and my god, the olive oil is brilliant. You can start to see Genoa a bit more clearly along the coast. It's that big mass of buildings. Now, I might not have discovered Genoa if my wife didn't come from here, because it's not really a well-known Italian city, but I wrote a book about it because frankly it's one of the most interesting, and geographically definitely one of the most interesting. It grew up 800-900 years ago, and it was a buccaneering place. It was stood shoulder to shoulder with Venice. I wrote in my book that it was a merchant pirate superpower, and it was really, really, really important at the time. Like Venice, it connected the whole of that early medieval economy to the other end of the Mediterranean, to the Levant, to the Black Sea, and everything that came along the Silk Roads. And then it kind of fell from grace, but it remained important. For instance, you had about a third, or was it a half, of all of the Spanish gold from the Americas, or silver, came through the banks that were being set up here. Really important. And then, like a lot of places, it kind of slowly declined, with some glorious old buildings rotting slightly in this hodgepodge of an empire that involved places like Corsica. You had people like Charles Dickens, and several other people used to stay here. Charles Dickens wrote that the centre of town smelt like old cheese in warm blankets, which sometimes, if you turn the wrong corner, it still does. When the Suez Canal opened, this became a great service port for the British, and they brought with it a love of football and cricket, which is why one of the two football teams, Sampdoria is my family's one, but the other one, Genoa, is actually Genoa Cricket and Football Club, and it's the oldest club still sort of at that top level in Italy. So, well worth a visit. And both of those teams are still really well worth going to watch a match, because it's great fun. Anyway, back to the road. Make sure I don't get run over on the way to Genoa. Tell you what, I get bad vertigo, and I did not enjoy coming across that. My legs completely went. Never mind, I made it. I never stopped. I'm just coming into Bogliasco, which is the village that's the next one along from Nervi, so I'm not far from home now. My feet are starting to hurt. I've got to say that in Recco, my place I would normally go to pick up some focaccia al formaggio was shut, probably because it's November. So I haven't eaten lunch yet. It's getting on a bit. I'm still racing to get home so that I can pick up my son from school. And in Bogliasco, I'll either find a bit of focaccia, or if I'm really lucky and a bit naughty, I'll find some good ice cream. There's a really good ice cream place here. Focaccia and pesto are the two things that, if you get outside this area of Liguria, they're just not the same. Absolutely not the same. Anyway, time to tuck in. peanut and salted caramel. This is sensational. Oh, I'm back home, and frankly, 17 miles or so, there's one thing that really makes this worth it. Come on, hello, 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 Baffo, Rita, hello, hello, how are you? How is my big ridge back? How are you? And how is my little Aussie doodle?